All right. Everything looks good on my end. And gotta wait for it to catch up to make sure. It says excellent connection, so hopefully everything. There it goes. There it goes. All right. Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing? It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been live. Whether or not it's here or on Twitch, and I apologize for that later for that latter bit. But hi everybody, welcome to the second Q&A live stream. Um, glad everybody's come to visit and hang out for about an hour or so. But yeah, once again, I had plans on making this like a monthly thing. Had plans for doing it at the end of last month. Mentally, I was not. I was not present. A lot of a lot of roller coastery things with my moods and everything like that. Because of long story short, hey, I have health insurance now. Again, it's been a minute since I've had health insurance, and it's state provided health insurance because I can't afford my own. And once I, and as you all know, if you follow me on social media, or if you've seen previous videos, part of the reason why I thought I was suffering from clinical depression was because my moods, and my energy levels were very much kaput at random times. So just like it will even affect my work. And then I later on found out through blood work, and I was like, no, your testosterone is just low. So I was like, very excited to get started on that so I can get back to my old self. However, it turns out when you have doctors look at you and you haven't been to a doctor in a very long time, there is a high chance that they're going to find out that there is more wrong with you than you initially wanted to focus on. And in my case, it was basically blood pressure and blood sugar levels. They want to make sure, like they were very, my doctor was very concerned that I was going to reach like diabetic levels. So, and at the same time he wants to get my blood pressure under control, which I found out was very high. It's been very high. And before any like testosterone treatment could be started, he wants to make sure that these aspects about my health are regulated and like, normalized, so that because testosterone treatment could possibly affect that, and he wants to make sure that this is important stuff that needs to be worked on first. So yeah, last month was a bit everywhere as far as like even with video creation, just like not not being able to like do what I make as many videos as I wanted to last month. But this month, October, October was great. I had, I had, I had, I had. Whenever I have a way of like sensing that I'm having focus, holy shit, John. Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate that. But yeah, whenever I have focus, and whenever I have focus, and I sense that I'm going to have to have focus, I'm going to hone in on it and just like squeeze as much out of the rag as I possibly can. And October was just like, okay, I want to make a video on X. I want to make an this video, I want to make that video, I want to work on this video essay, I also want to work on this video essay, but let me put up a poll, and you, once again, it's always late here, I don't understand why it's late, but thank you for the $100, Jonathan. But yeah, it's just been all over, but so October I was able to focus, if you've seen from my community tab post yesterday, some of that focus is still there because I have plans. Because some of the things I have planned for November, I want to, as you might have seen if you follow me on Readus on Twitter. That's at READUS underscore the number one, the number zero, the number one. Then you know that I've been interested in revisiting some old topics that I talked about like earlier on in my career. And one of the things I wanted to like hone in on, as far as like revisit a topic that I want to revisit, was yeah, the community tab, Catherine. The community tab on my YouTube page. That's where you get notifications. If you don't follow me on any social media, but you want to be updated, I'll post. I'll post. Post on the community tabs for like polls, let you know when things are available early on Patreon, things like that. But yeah, so the whole it's more, or it was more or less just, that I I had a thought and I just lost it. Hold up. Yeah, it was just you just I posted a picture on some of the topics that I have that I'm planning on revisiting on November. One of them was one that I talked about years ago that I want to revisit now, and that's pretty much on the topic of Killmonger from the Black Panther movie. Especially since Wakanda Forever is coming out in a couple of weeks, and I wanted to hone in on a lot of like the negative annotations of what Killmonger represents, not just in the movie, but also in like how what he represents in real life, when it comes to when it comes to how real life like reflects his character, and a lot of that involves, and there's definitely misogynoir, which is black misogyny, and also homophobia, according to what he reflects in real life to represent. And I want to hone in on that, and I want to hone in on that and explain and explain that in more in detail. So that's a video topic that I want to talk about. And then, as you know, I've been wanting to talk about Ghostbusters' link to like not just capitalism, but like oligarchical capitalism. And I can never pronounce that correct. It's always an exercise saying that word. I don't want to elaborate because I don't want to give off anything. I don't want to give anything away, but it's definitely along that aspect of like of capitalism that I really noticed, especially after playing Ghostbusters, the video game, that I want to talk about, and I want to do that in a video essay. And then I meant to do a Hocus Pocus video this month, but things kind of took off a bit too quickly, so I took this week off to calm down, relax a bit, plan out what I'm going to do for November. So we're getting the Hocus Pocus video next week. Um, the OG Ghostbusters, the OG Ghostbusters, and how Ghostbusters Afterlife plays into it. The only reason why I'm not branching out on like the real Ghostbusters, Extreme Ghostbusters, or the IDW comics is because I haven't seen all of them. And I haven't read all of them, and I want to read all of them, but I don't have the money to. But yeah, that's going to be fun. I have all the resources I'm planning on reading. If you follow me on Patreon, if you're contributing any amount on Patreon, you'll I'm going to be hosting a live stream where I'm going to be playing Ghostbusters the video game because I need footage for the video. I need footage for the video essay. So if you just want to contribute just $1, that's going to be happening in November, so I can have footage for it. And I'm going to be playing over. You probably won't see me. You'll probably won't see me or hear me. But if you just want to hang out and watch me play the Ghostbusters the video game, if you're contributing to my Patreon, then look out for posts from my Patreon. Also, if YouTube is still offering you still isn't like letting you know that I'm releasing things or things like that, if the notification button still isn't doing its job. A great way to get notified of when I post new videos is just to follow me on Patreon. Like, just follow every post that every video that I post on YouTube. I have a notification on my Patreon of when it goes live, and it's public for anybody, regardless if you're contributing financially or just following. So the best way to do that is to just follow my Patreon, and then you'll get notified whenever a video goes public. Usually, those who contribute $5 or more get the videos early, a day early, get access to the videos a day early, so they get notified on Tuesdays. But Wednesdays at like 3:05 Eastern, you should get an email notification or a Patreon notification if you have the app that a new video is posted. So that's a great way of keeping up with everything I do. And you can find it in the link tree in the yeah, you can find it in the link tree. No, over here. You can find it in the link tree if you go to my main page and see it on my head banner on youtube.com/Readus101. But yeah, before we get started, one more announcement. Speaking of Patreon, for the same reasons, with a bit of a with a more bit of a humorous take on it, the Carnage review will have to is going also going to be postponed to November, and the reason is actually rather funny. So, as I told you, I'm seeing a doctor. I'm getting I'm getting regular checkups to make sure that the medication that I'm on is copacetic, and that I'm having positive reactions to it, and that and wants to make sure that the doses are right before the visits become less frequent. And one of the things that my doctor let me know is like, hey, Lauren, last time we took blood work, your liver enzymes are pretty high, so to I need you to go to X, Y, and Z place so we can get a CAT scan of your liver so that we can talk. Um, I immediately now this I immediately went, okay, because the day 2 days before the blood was drawn for my doctor to see that my liver enzymes are high was the day that I drank an entire bottle of wine to review the first Venom movie. So, that's pretty much the reason why the liver enzymes were so high. So, I have to postpone the Carnage review until I get, now that everything is like leveled out. I have to postpone the Carnage review until I get my fucking, I just had the word for it. Uh Not CAT scan. I always get those confused with CAT scans. Uh God damn it. The basically, uh the thing, God, I don't know why my brain is just, I just said the word. Uh Anyway, I have to get a thing, look for my, they have to look at my liver. He prefers, and so it'll come back to me after I better explain it. So it's like, yeah, while I was at the doctor, I was like, okay, doc, so the come clean. I I YouTube for a living, and I recently did a video where I drank an entire bottle of wine reviewing Venom, so that's probably why my liver enzymes are so high. And he was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Ultrasound. That's the word. Jesus Christ. He still wants an ultrasound of my liver. So until I get that, I won't be able to. I won't be able to I won't be able to work on the Carnage video until I get my ultrasound of my liver. So that because now it's back where it's supposed to be. And if I work on it again, if I work on it now, then it's going to reflect the same thing that it did before. So once I get the ultrasound of my liver done, I'm going to work on. I'll be working on the Let There Be Carnage review. So there we go. But yeah, thanks everybody for stopping by. We have queues. I saw that there was one queue, and there was a couple of individuals who sent me queues when I first announced that we're going to be doing a live stream. So the first queue is from Hector Manuel. Could Astro Boy be a queer icon? Absolutely, I do. It's been a minute. I never watched I never watched any of the iterations of the anime, but I have seen the Americanized CGI movie. Excuse me. Um, and I've been meaning, and I thought it was really good. I've been meaning to rewatch it. I've definitely been meaning to rewatch it. Um, but I'm pretty sure we can. There's a possibility that Astro Boy can be looked at with a queer lens. If there's interest in it, I definitely wouldn't mind looking at it and seeing if and making a video on it if there is something like that. Let's see. Let's go. Uh, I've seen the movie too. Yeah, the movie was great. I really enjoyed it. I didn't see it in theaters. I didn't see it in theaters, but I did see. I did catch it. Like I did rent it once, and I thought it was really good. Just one second. Let's just scroll down to the Twitter because I know a couple of the questions were sent to me directly at my Twitter. Uh, But if anybody has any questions that you want to inquire or anything that you want to see from the channel coming November, well, feel free to let me know. Um, I did see that there was I did see that there was one on, also I said so there was one on Patreon. So let's go on and do that. Uh, but other than that, things have been pretty good. Things have been pretty good. Have you been watching Interview with a Vampire? I have not because I don't have regular cable, nor am I in the position to tack on another streaming service fee onto my onto my account. But I am planning. I do want to watch it, and I have I so the if you want if you want great like rundowns and thorough like analysis of episode by episode, I must suggest my girl Eliza Hansen, aka Maven of the Eventide on YouTube. She's been killing it with the episode by episode analysis videos because all of well, first of all, she specializes in vampires. And she's just great. She's just great. The way that she like dissects vampire media in general is just great. Maven of the Eventide, yes. Uh, Her vampire review segment is something that I have like marathoned like at least at least once every 2 months. It's like whenever I see that there are like back to back recommendations from YouTube of like vampire review videos that she's made, I just they just immediately I just immediately just play them and just watch. It's like I joke, but I'm semi serious that if we reach the next Patreon goal and I have to watch Morbius drunk, I need to make that a collab with her. I need to. It has to happen. Have you seen the first three episodes of Chainsaw Man? I have not. I have not. Um, I'm definitely interested in. I'm definitely interested. Interested though. I'm definitely interested. Uh, there has been there has been very. I've been hearing that there are comparisons, making comparisons, a lot of comparisons to either or both Devilman Crybaby and Parasite, and I love both of those. But I've also heard that those comparisons are completely wrong. So I'm just very interested in seeing what the anime is like. I don't know if I want to wait because you know me, I like I don't necessarily like watching episodically. I like watching in either big chunks or just marathoning everything. I'm debating whether or not I want to watch it subbed or dubbed because I'm pretty sure it's available. Is it just the dubbed that's available for the first three episodes, and the sub season is finished, or is that was I don't I don't I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but but yeah, I I really did no, that's absolutely fair, Nine Tail Phoenix. I'd be doing the same thing too. Um, and I'm very tempted to do the same thing. That's probably going to end up being how I'm going to watch it. Um, for the sake of this live stream, I have to mention other ways. Um, anime the 1980s anime was has more characters and device storylines in the movie. I think any cyborg robots are queer by their transformative nature. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Um, it's it definitely depends on the story because I'm sure like DC Cyborg could also be looked at that lens, but it could also, but considering how like because that's my media go to. Specifically, like the animated series of Teen Titans version of Cyborg, especially because of how they like were able to find a way to like focus on himself, like and his connection to humanity while also acknowledging his race and everything like that, especially in clever ways. So yeah, I can definitely see that. Um, Watching her, yeah. It's also I've been watching both as well. Nighttime Phoenix. Um, the movie Catherine. If we reach $3,000 a month on my Patreon, I'll be doing a wine drunk review of Morbius the movie, just like I'm doing for when we reach $1,000. Uh, and I'm doing one on Venom and Carnage and the Carnage sequel. I think it's subbed and then dubbed. Yeah, I if the entire season of Chainsaw Man is available subbed, uh, unless it's simulcast. I don't know if it's simulcast. That's the thing. It could it could have they could have easily been released in Japan and then just recently worked on the dub for Crunchyroll, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I have to find out. Um, but yeah, uh, there's two episodes of season. Right, because it's only seven. Because Interview of the Vampire is only 7 episodes. Um, I'm definitely going to. It's definitely looking like I'm going to be marathoning the entire 7 episode first season of Interview of the Vampire. Um, but other than that, um, you can save your one. The cartoon. I first of all, I didn't know that there was an actual cartoon. The only cartoon version of Morbius I knew was from Spider-Man the Animated Series, where he doesn't use his fangs, and he has like suckers on his hands for the plasma, not blood, because you know it's the '90s. It couldn't show blood on public television animation. Have you had the tradition of watching Paranorman every October? It turned 10? Holy crap. I recently see it's very it's very interesting when something that I grew up with becomes double digit years old because not only does it tell me about my morality, Oh, that's the one you're talking about, Kat? Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things I want to revisit. Definitely want to revisit Spider-Man the animated series in general, but at the same time, yeah, that adjustment for that adjustment for moms against whatever the fuck was just funny. But yeah, holy shit! It turned 10. I'm definitely gonna be watching the new motion animation movie that Jordan Peele worked on for Netflix. That comes out, I think that comes out this Friday. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be watching that. But holy shit, I Paranorman is so great. I really did enjoy Paranorman. And as far as that being some of the first like positive like queer representation, albeit in the form of a gag, but it was still positive queer representation in the first place. Um, it definitely it was definitely pleasant to see, and which is funny because I remember going to the movie theater to see it, and I saw that with my at the time FWB, uh, friends with benefits who don't know that anagram. Uh, he's now just an F as of right now, but he's a very good F. He's been close buddies with me. So it was just like seeing that and just like being in the quote unquote relationship that I was in at the time. It was like that's cool and that's cool and it's definitely one. It was definitely one of those movies that I saw that helped me want to like see more positive representation because it's like I've been out as bisexual. I've been an out and proud bisexual for like a couple of years before seeing that. Um, Albeit I wasn't out to my family. I wasn't out to my family when the movie came out, but it was just like I was living by myself, and if one of my friends asked, "Are you queer?" Yeah, it was one of those things. So yeah, I fucking love Paranorman, and holy shit, it's turning 10 years old. That means I was 24 when it came out, and now look at me, 34, and having to remember to properly stretch when I first wake up in the morning. Aging is great. Is great. Um, Other than that, yeah, uh, definitely looking. I'm definitely looking forward to working on these ideas I have for November's videos. Um, I'm glad that you all, which is very important in my opinion. I'm glad that you are just as hype for the video ideas that I have for November. Um, and also, I'm glad you all are have enjoyed the videos that I put out for October. I mean, uh, after the move, content content wise, because I hate the word content. Video wise, it was very much a funk as far as like looking and seeing like being able to focus on things. And then once I realized what I wanted to do for October and saw how much you guys were enjoying the videos, I greatly appreciated how much you guys were enjoying the videos. So thank you. Um, so thank you all for enjoying them, for watching them, for sharing around. Um, Definitely help get some pep in my step, get some pep back in my step as far as like content creation is concerned. But yeah, any other Mo, welcome. I was specific. I noticed that you left some questions on my social media, and for the life of me, I cannot find them. So if you don't mind, if you don't mind, if you still have the questions that you wanted to ask, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll make sure to answer them for you. But yeah, if anybody else has any, feel free to let me know. I still recall my mom laughing out loud during the whole movie. Good news, most of Leica films are free on. Oh, that's good. That's definitely good. A few years because I've been looking for more. I've definitely been looking for more like pop like movies I can watch like on other like free offering streaming services that aren't paid for. Chipotle Thief asks, "Will you cover video games?" I've been thinking about it. Now that I know how OBS works, I'm definitely going to be specifically PC games until I figure out how to properly like link up console games. I definitely want to. I'm definitely going to be incorporating video games more, like I've done with my heteronormativity video with the Quarry, and I'm going to include Ghostbusters the video game into my upcoming Ghostbusters video essay. So I'm definitely going to be including. I'm definitely going to be bringing video games more in topic uh, in the topics that I cover. As far as covering specific video games, I haven't really done that in a minute. I'm probably going to do that. I'm probably going to do that once I get a better like beat of where I am energy wise, or when I start my energy treatments. My energy treatments with testosterone to get everything scheduled back. I'm going to be doing more activity on my gaming channel, which is Readus Gaming. It's just yeah, it's not a fancy title, but if you just type in Readus Gaming, it's there. Nothing really there right now outside of just like some old like compilation videos that I did for like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Overwatch back when Overwatch back before I knew anything better about Blizzard, things like that. So I'm probably going to be using that for other things. You should probably play the new Ghostbusters. It looks so good. It looks so good, and I definitely like those like prop hunt type games. I just need people to play with. But I'm probably now that I'm streaming, that's probably a good idea. That's probably some ideas. If you like, I definitely have streamer friends who I could definitely play these games with. But but yeah, but it looks like a great time. Mo Aragon asks, "What's your favorite Doctor?" and my take on Young Justice season 4 if I've watched it. Okay, Doctor as in Doctor Who, I assume. Now, as of right now, my current favorite Russell T Davies Doctor is 10. I can't say my favorite one because Shukti Gatwa hasn't done anything yet. He won't do anything until next year, so I have to see. And my favorite Moffat Doctor is 12. I appreciate 11. I enjoy his energy. I enjoy his stories. Capaldi was just great, man. I really enjoy Capaldi. It's just that it's just that he's like that fun grandpa that you love to hang around, but has no problem just like getting down to the brass tacks and shit if things happen, and it's just like, oh man, I definitely want to see what 12 could. 12. I definitely wanted to see 12's possibilities if somebody other than Steve Moffat was show running a series for him. But for what I got, well, from what I gather, he's definitely my favorite. He's definitely my favorite Moffat Doctor, and I say that my favorite season or series. My favorite series of his was definitely the first one. Was definitely the first series. Also because that's the season slash series that we first got Missy, and Missy was great. I fucking love Missy. uh, but as far as my, I haven't seen any of season four. I'm so behind on. behind on Young Justice, and I'm also behind on Titans. I haven't seen any of Titans. I'm still on season three of Young Justice though. So I've heard good things about season four though. First time joining in live streams because it's midnight in South Africa. Always loved always loved your Catwoman vids and would love more on what a great Catwoman film would look like for you. Oh, thank you, Guy Africa. I definitely appreciate that. Catwoman is one of those characters that I really appreciate and learned to appreciate the older that I got and became more invested in the Batman mythos of DC. Especially since, as far as straight ships are concerned, straight canonical ships, I should say, Bruce and Selena is like top three. It's Bruce to me. It's Bruce and Selena as, and then second one is Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, and then there's no third one yet because I haven't experienced one that reached those vibes. Every other straight ship that I've seen is basically a reflection that and that I enjoy is basically a reflection of Bruce and Selena. So like Geralt and Yennefer, it's just like that's just medieval Bruce and Selena. So it's just like, well, what's different? I enjoy these two as much as I enjoy Bruce and Selena being together. So what's the difference? But yeah, Catwoman and her evolution and what she has come to represent, regardless of who writes. I shouldn't say that because Frank Miller will always find a way to fuck shit up. Uh, Certain people writing her will always be special to me, and I appreciate that. Um, just recently watched Paranormal again, hoping that they. Oh yeah, I don't want them to remake that either. Paranormal was just great. Let's see, like everything with Clara. Clara was a great companion. I I definitely enjoyed her. I don't know if I'm committing treason by saying that. I definitely enjoyed Clara more than I enjoyed Amy. It's like out of the companions, out of Moffat's companions, it's it's Clara, Bill, Amy. I apologize if I offend anybody. Tom Kingsley was awful. I haven't read City of Bane in its completion because, like everybody else, I was upset that the wedding was fake, or was what I'm upset that the wedding never happened. So, and I only know bits and pieces of what happened in City of Bane, and I've been meaning to read it, but yeah, season four Young Justice is way better than season three. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I'll definitely keep that in mind when I start. Left. I Yeah, I haven't. I've just started watching 13's season. I'm just on. I just started series 11 last night. And if you've been watching me, and if you follow me on Twitter last night, then you know that because I found out. I was reminded I was reminded that there was a Rosa Parks episode, which apparently was very well received, and I just there are a bit of cringeworthy elements of it, but that's I've expected that when it comes to like Doctor Who revisiting like past events in history. And to be fair, it's been a minute since Doctor Who actually acknowledged like real world racism, especially American racism. Uh, uh, like both the Davies era and the Moffat era, like even in past settings were definitely good as far as like showing allowing like black and brown faces in places where you probably wouldn't have seen black and brown faces. So seeing actual racism addressed in a Doctor Who episode was very interesting. And then the episode immediately after that had to do with spiders, and I couldn't watch a single frame of that. I just let that episode play in the background while I cleaned my fucking kitchen. But I'm enjoying Jodie's 13th so far. It's fun. It's very fun. I'm interested. I know of elements of her run as far as like shenanigans that the internet was pissed off about, and then I'm interested in seeing this new iteration of the Master. So that's gonna be fun. I did get a sneak peek. I did cheat. I cheated and saw 13's. I did cheat and see 13's regeneration from 13 to 14. I can't fucking wait for that special. Oh god. Yes. Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown was my favorite after Bruce and Selena. I had to unlearn. I had to un. I had to learn to stop hating Stephanie Brown. I definitely fell into that trap when I was younger. That hating Stephanie Brown and thinking that she's a bad character was like something that you know naturally happened. Like once I got out of the mindset of like characters of like blaming characters for actions instead of like the writers and what they want to happen. I started looking. I started getting a better appreciation of Stephanie Brown. But for the longest, I was definitely clouded by that mindset because of I how I just like a lot of people blamed everything that happened in war games, the story that led up to like her death, and the reason why, and like the and being felt falling on her shoulders. And I definitely appreciate that she has since been given writers that actually care about her to, and wants to show that she is a good character. And once I realized that, I was like, wait a minute. The reason why I hated Stephanie Brown wasn't because I just thought that she was in over her head. I was I was just following toxic fan base and just blaming the characters instead of looking at who. It's kind of like it's kind of like how it's kind of like on that broad sense of like how there's no such thing as Wolverine or Scott Summers being a bad character or being a bad leader. It just depends on who's writing who and who likes and which writer likes who more. Like it's obvious that like some would say that because of like, experience and exposure that Scott would be a better leader. But some would also say that about Wolverines because the person who's writing Wolverine wants Wolverine to be a better leader of the X Men. So it's kind of like that. It's definitely it's it's definitely give and take there. Davros. Yeah, Davros is my favorite Doctor Who villain. That's absolutely fair. Did you grow up with Will Vincent claymation works? You should see the new documentary of the untold battle between Travis Knight and Vinton. Let me look up who that is to refresh my memory. Vinton. Will Vinton. This dude. Yes, I definitely did. Um, yep. Not all of them. Not all of them for sure, but but definitely the ones that you'd expect. Uh, like probably Let me see. Oh yeah, like Return to Oz. Yep, definitely. I definitely. I I wasn't as like I was I wasn't as traumatized by Return to Oz as everybody else was because I saw it when I was a bit older. But but yeah, that was very impressive. And then Moonwalker, of course, the speed demon segment. Yep, the PJs. Yep, definitely, definitely, definitely. And then yep, yep, yep. I definitely did. Yeah, Catherine. People hated Stephanie. It was a more it was more along the lines of like in over her head, in over her head, ruining everything, trying to prove herself and just making things worse. And it and a lot of people either who weren't and a lot of people fell for that trap of just of her believing that she's not a good character because of how the mistakes that she made. Most male anime writers writing women. Whew, you are not wrong. You are not wrong. It's just like, and I ran into that. I ran into that problem too as a novice writer because despite me being queer, I didn't know how to write women because just because I am queer does not mean automatically give me the pass of knowing how to write women, and it's just like, and it's just like, uh, and I legit had a genuine question of like, even if acknowledge, I know it should be fine acknowledging that you can't write women. So is it better to just like not include them if you don't know how to write them, and then somebody I respect was like, no, you just learn how to write. You just learn how to write women and be better about it. And it's just like ever since then I took that to heart. And it's like if I can do that, then everybody else who is paid the big buckaroos to tell these stories can properly do that. So yeah, there's that. Uh, Imagine if what it would have been like if YouTube and Twitter were around when became Robin and were ooh. Mm. I can only imagine just like the whole like this is more proof that women ruin everything and just like or just like or just some derogatory comment about her being blonde or just like why this is this is why young girls should stay out of grown men's business or some shit like that or some shit like that. It would have been a it would have uh I rarely use the word block feature on Twitter, but if war games happen and Twitter was around when war games happen, I probably would have muted so many words. Oh man. I mean, especially considering that a lot of the characters, female characters that we are seeing or being introduced to nowadays, are just as like common as they were back in like the 80s and 90s. Just looking at it's like could it's like even it's like we're getting hate for Naru and being for Naru and Prey and being and calling her Mary Sue when if Twitter existed back when the first two Alien movies were out, Ellen Ripley probably would have been called the exact same thing. It's all whack. It's all whack. Let's see what we got here. Hey, us bi-arachnophobes got to stick together, Ninetale Phoenix. I appreciate it. Uh, yeah, I've also been meaning to catch up on Owl House. I'm still on season two. I did make a couple of I did make a couple of videos, one on season one and one on an episode of season two. One that spoke out to me specifically regarding regarding what's her name's mom and her falling for every fucking Ponzi scheme to save her of her affliction, because of how close it was to because of how the close the story was to my mom. And but I've been waiting for the entire season to be available, and moods and work caused me to like not be able to watch it when they were released on time when they were released on Disney Plus. But I definitely want to finish it, especially now that season three is out and starting to air. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how everything's going to wrap up. She Hulk was has been around since. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We got motherfuckers who think that She Hulk was created just for Disney Plus when she's been around since the '70s. I don't know what to tell these motherfuckers. I don't know what to tell these motherfuckers. Ada, yeah, Ada, that's her name. Um, Speaking of which, I really did enjoy She Hulk. There were elements that I wish that there are elements about She Hulk that I wanted to like. I definitely wanted to. I definitely wanted to like look under a an analytical lens for, but I realized that the show didn't because it's first and foremost a comedy. Uh, and it's basically and the reason and because it is a comedy, it's I acknowledge that it's not that these aspects that I've noticed weren't the first things I wanted to first things that I would want to see the show talk about. Um, and a couple of ones that I was hoping that they would talk about was pretty much on Jen's being, as far as like going from not necessarily prosecution. Well, I don't know how lawyers work. I just use them when I need to sue my ex employers. Um, yeah, they don't think X Men are political either. It's ridiculous. Um, one of the things that saw how it was. I've noticed that she was very much on like on like the state of upholding justice via prosecution, and then when she got hired on an by a law firm that she was actually going up against in the first episode, uh, by listing all these things that were wrong with him, especially in how he was opposing justice. Now she represents him as a defense attorney, and I wanted to see that like that conflict. I wanted to see how that conflicted with like her morals and everything. But uh, this is a comedy, so we just now it's just focusing on like how she's doing this as She Hulk as the face of this corporation. And then another thing I want, and then of course there was the whole thing with Abomination, and they kind of touched on that with the conflict of interest thing, but it also was more along the lines of what I was expecting from like to go from like this transition from like prosecution to defense, as far as like saying that she's pro the people, and then defending and then representing this big law firm. Like yeah, it and I yeah, and Mo Aragon, I definitely say that the league I know that they said that like they weren't necessarily focusing on the legal side of it because the writers don't know how to do that, which is fair. But at least that angle I wanted to see addressed. And then I really do. I also saw that there could have been so many storytelling possibilities as far as Jen's empowerment as a woman in law, and considering like the whole considering like like the battle of the sexes angle that the show went under with the whole like She Hulk woman haters or whatever, and then like her status as a woman and just trying to live her life. And there were definitely angles that they could have explored that more, especially with what's her name, her fellow lawyer who was switched from white, who used to be white in the comics but is black in the show. They could definitely could have used a lot of angles with that, and I definitely want to talk about it in a future episode, not episode, a video where I talk about She-Hulk, about how they could have handled that. But just a lot of bit of stuff that I really wanted to see the show dig into, but because it's only a half an hour episode, and the focus is on comedy and Jen's like getting used to everybody's just like, okay, this isn't what the show's focus is on. But I definitely see this, and there's definitely possibilities for other things, which is why I'm definitely appreciative of like the actual episode when she's like at uh Abomination's like whole like retreat thing, and she's able to get that off of her chest. And I was like, that this is a really good episode. This is a really good episode for Jen's development, and I appreciate that happened, especially considering all these things that I wanted to see regarding her development and her mindset that was sacrificed or at least not thought of because they wanted to focus on like being a legal comedy, like a courtroom comedy, which I understand and I appreciate. Uh, just wanted to. I definitely want to sink my teeth into that. Want to sink my teeth into that. To one of the other possibility. What do you think of the Warner Brothers Discovery merger? Huh. I think that out of all the things that I have grown to hate, and I say hate with a very strong annotation, over the course of these few years, that this is the one that is high up there. Like, I understand that Warner Brothers had to be bought in order for it to survive. I just hate the situations that resulted in Zaslav being the one in charge and like not realizing that they have a good thing going here and to probably just leave it alone and realize that Discovery should be the one to actually like join in. I'm excited to see I'm excited to see James Gunn being one half of DC's new Kevin Feige. I'm interested in seeing how he I'm interested in seeing how they go about forming DC Studios now that it's officially DC Studios as of it'll be officially DC Studios as of November 1st. Um, I doubt that it was his decision, even though I joked about it earlier this morning, but I'm glad that the Green Lantern Corps series is no longer focusing on which one's the fuck boy? Um Guy Gardner. I'm glad it's no longer focusing on Guy Gardner and it's focusing on John Stewart. Um, I did see there was a complaint that because the original Green Lantern isn't the focus on it anymore, that it's cutting out it's a cutout for queer representation. I personally don't think Alan Scott. I personally don't think they were going to use New 52 Alan Scott. I don't think they were going to use New 52 Alan Scott. New 52 Alan Scott, or I guess Earth 2 Alan Scott, is the queer one. I don't think they were going to do that because of the fact that it was Zaslav. I think they were just going to. I think they were just going. And if they were, the queerness of Alan Scott was going to be completely minimalized, just like it was in the comic, because they only. I have a big conspiracy theory that they only made Alan Scott queer just to give him the barrier gaze trope to explain how he got the Green Lantern powers. because it was so obvious in the comics, and it was annoying, and it was just like, ugh, can't we just be happy and be superheroes at the same time? Can we just be happy without our partners having to die in order for us to in order for us to have our proper backstories? But yeah, John Stewart totally deserves to be front and center of the Green Lantern Corps show. Definitely deserved. Um, I would have said Hal Jordan, but post crisis Hal Jordan has no personality. After crisis Hal Jordan, his personality fucking sucks because it was written by Jeff Johns. And now and once again and those two cancel out to the point where it's just like Hal Jordan is just it's just fucking boring. The only thing interesting about him is what's her name? One of the Star Sapphire that he dates on and off, and like John Stewart is such a better character. He's just in general. I feel like the majority of GL fans are a fan of John Stewart because GL and GL. Yes, absolutely. That's how I first found out about John Stewart. I didn't know who the fuck John Stewart was until Justice League Unlimited. My first introduction to Green Lantern, Carol Danvers. Thank you, Nine Tail Phoenix. My first introduction to my first introduction to Green Lantern was in Superman the Animated Series, and even then it was Kyle Rayner. It was Kyle Rayner, who who is basically one of the best Green Lanterns canonically. And then I found out about John Stewart through the Justice League animated series. Is just like, and even then it's like I've never I never even see actual good representation of Hal Jordan until Green Lantern the animated series. And even then you had Kilowog and you had what's his name who was the Red Lantern who recently became Blue, I think, in Young Justice. I can't remember his name because I don't necessarily remember all the new lanterns because because the only of the new Lantern characters I know off the top of my head is Larfleeze because he was, or at least was the only when I read, he was the only Orange Lantern. Razor, yep. That's it. When can they do Kyle's thing where he beats bad guys with giant teddy bears? Oh, that would be amazing. That would be very amazing. Uh, so, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um, I'm interested in seeing because I definitely read that James Gunn definitely wants to give more creative control to the creators, even if they plan on doing like a interconnected universe, like Zaslav wants to emulate with Marvel Studios and everything, since they have a 10-year plan and everything. But considering that James Gunn is definitely creator friendly first, and that he's handling that aspect, I feel like this is a very interesting and a very good direction for DC Studios to head in. Um, Honestly, the fact that two people are playing Kevin Feige might be better in the long run, but we don't know. Uh, what is up tomorrow? Did it? Yeah, that's another one I've been meaning to watch. This, I haven't watched any of the CW shit since like what season 3 of Arrow. I just fell off. I definitely appreciate the Arrowverse more than Smallville because I'm not a fan of Dawson's Creek Superman. That whole type of show and how they tried to blend in like Superman's origin with like that type of show just wasn't my thing. Also tried to watch Gotham, even though it's basically Smallville but with Batman, and just saw like how and just didn't really like the changes that they decided to make for some of the villains and for some of the Rogues Gallery members and everything like that. So I just couldn't watch that either. Arrowverse was the closest thing that I wanted from like primetime DC like superhero television. And even then, I easily got caught up in other things uh, around the Crisis crossover. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I did enjoy Black Lightning when it was on. I did enjoy Black Lightning. It was one of that was definitely fun. Uh, Space. When are they gonna make Kyle Space Jesus? I mean, they kind of already did when he became the White Lantern. uh, a pure that guitar riff along with Superman the animated series. Yes, yes. No, I agree. I agree. The JLU theme song, even though it even though it feels like the show feels like we've had it for so long, but I'm pretty sure there's only like one season of Justice League Unlimited. But that attests to how good it was. It's just like Justice League had multiple seasons, and all of their stories were told in almost all of their stories were told in two parters. Justice League Unlimited had one shots that lasted throughout the 30 minute runtime, almost no two parters, and every one of them were iconic. Almost every one of them were iconic. It's so great. It's so great. No, okay, I'll yeah. So Week versus Five, I will agree. The casting for Gotham was amazing. The person that they got to play Penguin, perfect person. Same with Riddler. Same with Riddler. The only thing I would disagree. Only thing I would dis. I was very like even the same for old dude who played Hugo Strange. Perfect. I was so pissed with how they treated the Azrael storyline. As a kid who grew up on like post Nightfall and Jean Paul Valley as and the Order of Saint Demas and Azrael and everything like that. Even the new versions of Azrael after New 52 and everything like that. I was just so disappointed, and it's just it's just like, oh god. It's just like, why? Just stop. Why are you doing this? Look how they massacred my boy. Oh god. I want more Legions of Superhero content. I loved that show as a child. I wrote self-insert fan. Ah man, self-insert fan fiction. I feel that. I feel that. I really enjoyed Legion of Superheroes in the first season. I really enjoyed the first season. I've watched it on and off in the second season. My inner like my inner trustworthy sense was definitely tingling when I was introduced to Superboy Prime. It was just like I had no knowledge of Superboy Prime in the comics or any other bullshit that he did, and I saw him in Legion of Superheroes. I saw the way he looked, and I saw the way he acted. And I was like, this motherfucker don't sit right with me. Lo and behold, as I started getting more into comics, and I learned about the shit that Superboy Prime actually did in the comics, I was like, I see. These are why I kept getting bad vibes from Superboy Prime whenever I watched Legion of Superheroes. Oh, that's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair, Ninetale Phoenix. Honestly, If Tinderwolf was a bit more like Bara-y, me too. I'm just gonna be honest. Twinks do nothing for me. But oh man, this was fun. This is fun. The Flash TV show until it eventually got old. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. For the longest, I was actually quite surprised that the Flash outlived Arrow, and I was surprised that it continued to outlive Arrow. But and that's about to have a swan song. So I'm hopefully thing well considering that whoever's in charge of CW now basically says that no young people don't watch CW, only old people. So we need to cater to that demographic. It's just like, oh, I see. So it's the transition. So it's the WB UPN merger all over again. Got it. Yeah, Flash is still around, but for a limited time only. They're on its last season, actually. Um, but yeah, thank you all for stopping by. Uh, Thank you all for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Any thoughts on King the Conqueror being the new Thanos? Yes, he's not Thanos. He's Kang. So I'm um honestly, if you've seen my video essay that I did collabing with Owen Likes Comics and Matt Draper and guest starring Scott Nicewander about my problem with both comic and MCU Thanos, and you know that I just have a general dislike of Thanos as a character, regardless of the medium that he is in. Um, I also don't really like the concept of the Infinity Stones. So the Infinity Saga, for like 4/5 of the Infinity Saga, was just not for me in the MCU. Especially even the way that they retrofitted Thanos uh, for his and changed his reason for wanting to snap away half the universe for the sake of his own personal morals and ideals instead of just being a fucking simp for death didn't add up to me. It was definitely on some boomer logic and just he's always right no matter what decision that he makes, and it just annoyed me, especially seeing how it all played out at the end of Avengers Infinity War. There are so many better big bads that Marvel can be incorporating. Um, Doctor Doom is one of them. Kang is definitely one of them, and I'm excited to see how Kang is visualized because Quantumania Kang looks like it's going to be the Kang that's going to be the actual big bad. And after seeing how He Who Remains was done in Loki, I'm very excited to see the differences in like these different variants of Kang that we're going to be getting. Um, and it's just like I ju- I made a tweet about this because somebody actually confronted me about this when I stated my glee in seeing Jonathan Majors as He Who Remains and expecting and getting a sense of what to expect with Kang. It was like, you just like the multiverse saga because it's not because Thanos isn't the villain and Kang is played by a black man. And I'm like, maybe so. Because it's true. I I no longer have to deal with Thanos' bitch ass. And we have a villain being portrayed by an actor who I am absolutely sure is going to knock it out of the park regarding the villain's logic and reasoning making actual sense and like being actually menacing outside of just being either a simp in the comics or a baby boomer in the MCU. I'm also interested in seeing how they're. I also have a theory that because of how Loki season one ended, the entire multiverse saga is going to be contained in a single loop. Because I have a theory that he who remains is going to appear at the end of Secret Wars to help put everything back in place and establish everything as it is with the time with like the sacred timeline as we see it at the end of season one of Loki, because he knows everything that's going to happen. And that's how it's going to explain that, the multiverse saga, that the multiverse is going to get like fixed before more like whatchamacallits uh incursions happen, because incursions are the main like plot device here, outside of like the 10 rings and Kamala Khan's bracelet, and that having clearly having something to do with like his time chair. On Earth they'll bring back Kid Loki or another version. They I feel like they have to, because they're definitely introducing the Young Avengers with every almost every iteration. I'm expecting to see Hulkling in Secret Invasion. I'm definitely I'm definitely expecting to see Hulkling in Secret Invasion. Um, I also hope that they chose the actors and actresses that they did because they can grow into the roles, as opposed to purposely making them too young for the ones that actually identify as queer to actually like do things on camera without getting, conservative moms fussing and complaining about it because these are quote unquote children. It's actually funny because Billy's actor is actually I've been seeing Wiccan's actor, like, first of all, I didn't know he was a natural blonde because he's been visiting a lot of horror conventions, and he's clearly a fan. He's a big fan of horror. Apparently, I didn't know he was a natural blonde, and it looks like he's definitely growing to what I would expect like a teenage Wiccan would look like. So, would look like in the MCU, considering that it was. So I'm hoping that they were just cast young and portraying young so that they can properly grow into their roles. But yeah, I don't know much about the comics. I've been wondering what are Kang's powers. Um, my only knowledge of Kang is from the Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated series. I haven't really read anything, but I do know about the Council. Man, he's just from what I've been told. Wiccan and Speed. Yeah, I haven't seen much of Speed. I haven't seen much of Speed online. His actor online, but yeah, he's just a very determined man who's related to Reed Richards, and a very future descendant of Reed Richards. Um, that just is just he's just a threat. He's just a threat. Yep, gets into everything. Um, I'm very excited to see how this plays out. Um, I do wish that, depending on who's making the movies, that they take more time and precaution with their production as they do with the entire mapping out the entire like 3 phase sagas every year that they do. But because in my opinion it makes no sense that out of all of the Phase 4 movies that we received so far, that Black Panther. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the best looking one, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, 7 o'clock here in Detroit, and if I don't remember, Jesse Gender, Council of Geeks, fear that the son of Hulk might replace Hulkling to get rid of the. Yeah, yeah. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that they only brought in Scar because it was a nice nod, and they're going to do something with the Hulks eventually. I think now that they have Hulk, now they have Scar, now they have She Hulk. Probably going to get Red Hulk because they recast Thunderbolt Ross. They have enough characters to justify doing something with Hulk without having to share the revenue with Universal Studios, and call it a quote unquote solo film because it involves the Hulk family or whatever. So I think they're leading up to something like that. But but yeah, I think they truly are going to introduce Hulkling and Secret Invasion. I don't think they're going to replace Scar with Hulkling. Kevin Feige is too smart to do that. He's way too smart to do that, and he knows that people have been complaining about the lack of proper LGBTQ plus representation in the MCU for years, and he knows how popular the and because he both runs Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics, he knows how popular Wiccan and Hulkling are. He knows it will be incredibly dumb for him to do that. Even if Disney asks him to do that, he would definitely fight, especially considering how he sided with Jesus Christ, another brain fart. Especially how much he sided with Chloe Zhao regarding allowing all these brain farts, allowing regarding Fastos to kiss his husband in Eternals. Disney lost. Disney actively lost money for Kevin Feige siding with Chloe Zhao to allow Fastos to kiss his husband because the movie couldn't air in certain countries because they wouldn't cut it out and replace it with anything else, and he was fine with it. And the movie was still a success, and it's personally still my favorite Phase 4 film. Even besides that, Kevin Feige knows the importance, especially because we've been like yelling in his ear for it for years. And he knows how popular Hulkling and Wiccan are as a couple. Whether or not he will save that to for save that for exclusive Disney Plus to appease to appease like execs who are too cowardly to put it in a movie, or actually go on and say we're putting it in a fucking movie, fuck what the execs say, is up to him. Yes, and we're still getting in Eternals too, exactly. I have confidence that they're going to do Wiccan and Hulkling justice in the MCU. Like as an actual romance, actual couple. But yeah, and I hope they lean into Kang's more interesting powers. Thanos just being ambiguously strong and durable just made him more dull. Absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair. And we do deserve both Scar and Hulkling. Yes, I agree, Ninetale Phoenix. But see, so I had the whole theory about Blonsky hanging out with Wong. Uh, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure that out myself personally. like like there has to be a reason why Wong is constantly like working with Abomination for something, and I can't pin my I can't put my finger on it quite yet. But yeah. Thank you all for hanging out with me and and shooting the shit for like an hour and a half. This has been fun. Um, I'm glad you all enjoy doing this as much as I enjoy doing this. I'm glad that I had the energy to be able to do it this month. Holy shit! Um, Once again, thank you so much for enjoying the videos, the recent ones that I've done, the video essay on Candyman that I produced. Uh, all these were labors of love, and I'm glad that you all enjoyed them as much as I enjoy creating them. Um, we're going we're very I'm very focused on making sure that there's always going to be a Q&A, a hangout session like this at the end of every month, and if a situation occurs like was last month, I'll definitely let you all know when I have the energy, when I have the focus, and when I don't, and then we'll just try again. We'll just give it the old college try next month. But thank you all for showing up. And Guy Africa brings up a great point. When I first found out that wait, what's your thoughts on the new upcoming Velma show? Oh yeah. Um, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in seeing it. I want to see how Scott Nicewander brought up a very interesting point when I saw his opinions about it. It's definitely it's definitely one of those things where they saw how well the Harley Quinn animated series formula worked out for them, and they wanted to give it a shot. And I feel like that's going to be the case. I feel like that's the main case for the Velma show. I do think that at least with the preview that they gave us, I'm afraid that there's a bit of trying too hardiness as far as like laying it on to like a certain demographic of people who are definitely going to talk shit about this in regardless of how good it ends up being. But that's yet to be seen, and I'm definitely hoping that that's not the case, and that it has that just the right amount of commentary slash jab while also still being a fun watch. And as far as more queer representation, I uh, Guy Africa brings up a great point. We're going to get that. We are also going to get that with Michaela Cole in the form of Annika in Wakanda Forever. Not gonna lie, a bit disappointed that I found out that she was playing Annika and not Aurora Monroe, because she has the perfect bone structure and the perfect presence to do Storm. But she is playing the love interest of T'Challa's personal bodyguard, who is a badass in her own right, and I can't wait to see what she brings to the movie. I'm not looking forward to seeing images of Wakanda being flooded by anymore, but you know that's just something I'm gonna have to get over because of the fact that Namor is the main villain. But also looking forward to that. Uh, Want to see a here's hoping show. I want to see. Yeah. People didn't know that Shaggy is this motherfucker's nickname. It took being introduced to a black Shaggy to people to learn his actual name and be like, who the fuck is this dude? It's like, that's Shaggy. Shaggy's just his nickname. This has been his name forever. once again, people once again, we reach that point of like people don't know that the X-Men are political aspect, but but I digress, readers. Perfect segue. Thank you all for hanging out with me for this hour and a half. It's been hella fun. And whenever, and we're going to try and keep doing this at the end of every month. Whenever I have the energy, whenever I have the focus, whenever I have the mental like energy to possibly do this. Thank you, everyone who contributed, who contributes financially, who views my things. If you want to follow me on different platforms, look at the link tree above everything, like in the upper right hand corner of my YouTube channel homepage. You'll find links to my Patreon. Contribute anything and every contribute anything you wish to contribute. If you want to help financially support the channel, you can follow me on Twitch. I'll be streaming. Right now, I'll be streaming more often video games. Right now, I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Quarry, because I haven't really finished it. I only played enough to make the video, my heteronormativity video, and Call to the Lamb. Until that's done, and then we're going to figure something else out there. If you want to follow my Patreon, if you want to either contribute financially or make sure that you get a heads up on whenever I post a new video, that's the best way. And then, question. Bellamy Reyes, if you could, didn't you not want? There's a popular reggae artist named Shaki who is black. That's absolutely fair. Uh, yep, yeah. Norville. Now just imagine Norville Shaggy Rogers. That's the Nick Shaggy's the nickname. If you could, Bellamy, I if you could elaborate on the question. If you could elaborate, please. I need more context. Glad you're here, though. Glad you're here, though. Um, yeah, it's just weird to. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, it is weird. It is weird. And it's definitely one of those only. It's definitely and I agree. There are aspects about that. It's like I'm not of not being hip to like the quote unquote lore of Scooby Doo to know that that's his name. Just trying to confuse you. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Uh, but yeah, thank you all for stopping by, hanging out. Uh, every aforementioned thing I mentioned, Patreon, Twitch. Uh, I will be. If you have noticed, Readus101.com is down. That's intentional. Um, I am still planning on doing like written reviews and written commentary and things like that. However, I will be switching from a website to a newsletter. Um, I'm hoping to get things better incorporated either at the end of November or at the beginning of January 2023. So look out for that, and then I'll make an announcement, either a video announcement or stream. Uh, so so outside of following me on Patreon and getting first dibs when those write ups and articles and editorials are released, you'll also get them through a newsletter, uh, paywall free, but you'll get an exclusive first look, or like an early access if you join my Patreon. It's going to be added on the tier list once I get everything ironed out. But yeah, just getting you a heads up there. But thank you all for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Every view, every video share, every tweet, share, everything. It really does mean the world to me. And even along with any financial contributions that you can make, everything that you do helps grow the channel, get more eyes on my stuff, and it's really appreciated that you've been sticking around with me all this time. But I still I have to get to work on the stuff for November, and that includes watching a few includes watching a few things and taking a few notes and writing up a few things. So until next time, this has been Readus 101. Class dismissed.